Hey, it's Ray with Sober Without God. And I'm glad you're here today. And today we are going to talk about presidential candidates and substance abuse. And I want to start off by saying I am not here to endorse a political candidate at all. I talk about religion on this channel. I talk about substance abuse. I talk about being alcohol free, but you're not supposed to talk about religion and politics. But so I'm not talking about politics today. I'm talking about political candidates. And the reason I wanted to talk about political candidates today is because about something I saw this week on X, formerly known as Twitter. But before I start, I want to say that if you are having trouble with alcohol, then please go see your primary care physician or get some help with an organization like Reframe, which deals with people who are having a problem with alcohol. The things I talk about are from my own personal point of view, and I'm not a medically licensed person to handle with substance abuse. I'm just here to offer my own personal opinion. And so I'll leave a link down below for Reframe. But please do go consult someone who is in the medical field about your alcohol use disorder, or if you know someone who's suffering from some kind of substance abuse, please go get some professional help. So I was on X this week, Twitter, and I saw a clip of Vice President Kamala Harris, and it was the shortest clip. And I've seen these before, people trying to paint Kamala Harris as someone who has an alcohol use or substance abuse problem. And she was talking off camera to someone about making a salad, I think it was. And she was just having fun. And you have to go look it up, but they were saying that she must have been hitting the bottle, but then she got serious on when she turned to the camera and was saying hi to somebody. I've seen other videos like this, which are just short clips of Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, saying things, and then they said the way she was acting, she must be a drunk. She has an alcohol use problem. Uh, and then at the same time, we also have Donald Trump, former President Donald Trump, who people have said in the past, they've said, hey, he's got an amphetamine addiction. And look at the guy. How can he keep going? He must have amphetamines. And people have seen him in his desk drawer. Listen, first of all, I want to say that you shouldn't say a dang thing about another person on the whole planet unless you have some kind of evidence to back it up. Unless you've seen it firsthand or someone produces firsthand evidence about that person, keep your mouth shut. What is the purpose of putting it out there, of retweeting or even making a comment about a short clipped video and saying, well, that person looks like they've been drinking too much? Why would you say that? There have been videos on this channel that I have shot because I have insomnia. And I'm like, well, I've got insomnia. I might as well shoot a video. And in fact, I had a family member one time who asked me, are you okay in that video? Um, Maybe implying that I had a problem, but it was 2:30 in the morning and I was tired and I had nothing to sleep and I didn't look okay. And you could have made the case that maybe I was on something. I wasn't. I was just had insomnia. I was tired. You don't know what a person's going through by a 30-second clip or 15 or 45-second clip. Sometimes that person could be exhausted. They could be tired. Maybe they didn't eat. Maybe they're just going through whatever, but you are not an expert on someone else's behavior when you see them talking. And that goes for former President Trump or Vice President Kamala Harris. And you cannot read into their behavior based on what you see. And some of the other comments were like, this person shouldn't be leading the nation, whether it was Trump or Harris. This person shouldn't be leading the nation if they're under the influence of, listen, I 100% think if a person has some kind of substance abuse issue, they should be getting help for it. But you're going from assumption A that this person has it to assumption B, this person isn't fit to lead our nation. You're just engaging in a chain of gossip that goes from behavior to behavior. And that is unacceptable. And it's also, to me, unacceptable to think that a person, even if they were to have a problem, then that is their personal problem that they need to deal with. and get help with and talk to other people and see what they can do about it. In fact, on that side note, and let's take a little sidebar here, on projectno.com, they have a website. It's called A Complete Guide to US Presidents and Their Drug and Alcohol Use. And going back all the way to George Washington, he used laudanum. Yes, our first president used opiates. James Madison, he was on drugs and he drank excessively. Martin Van Buren drank so much that his nickname was Blue Whiskey Van. Isn't that interesting? Franklin Pierce drank a lot. His heavy drinking was well known. When his term of presidency was over, he said, "There is nothing left but to get drunk." James Buchanan was a heavy drinker. He reportedly could drink several bottles of alcohol in the course of an evening. He was known to hold his liquor very well and did not exhibit the characteristics of a drinker. So the list goes on and on. Chester A. Arthur was a heavy drinker and it affected his health. Grover Cleveland drank 4 to 8 beers a day and his stomach showed it. We've had presidents in the past with alcohol use problems. And I hope at some point that if we have any elected official, and when you have so many elected officials, whether Senate, Congress, mayor, governor, anywhere, and think about your state representatives as well. You're going to have probably the same amount statistics, the same percentage of people in those populations who have some kind of drug or alcohol abuse that you do in your regular population. And by God, these same people are going to be under even heavier. They have more difficult issues to deal with than a lot of us, and they're in different social settings, and a lot of them are probably going to be abusing alcohol and drugs. And so my hope for them is not that we'll be talking down about them, but if there are people in public service who are using alcohol and drugs, that they will get help. And so it's not fair to look at a short clip, excuse me, of a candidate or someone who's in office and make a claim based on that. It's better to have firsthand evidence anytime at any phase of life than to just make a claim based on what we see in a few seconds of a video. Research it. Have facts, and having facts is not looking at some news site that is put together by a bunch of other claims, but it's having facts is having firsthand evidence. So that triggered me, when I saw it this week. What do you do? And so I do want to address this. What do you do if you have a family member or if you have someone close to you who does have an alcohol problem? And I will leave a link below that has a site that I got this information from, who has an alcohol or drug problem. First of all, know the signs. There are a lot of signs. I'm not going to mention them all right here, but if they're using alcohol and they're using alcohol more frequently, if they're using alcohol not just when they have a bad day, or they're using it all the time, or if they're hiding their drinking from you, or if it's affecting their mood, that person might have a problem. Learn as much as you can about what alcohol abuse is like, what alcohol abuse use disorder is like. Know what the signs are. Have a talk with them. Know how to talk to them. Not getting on to them, but having an open and honest conversation with them. And you may be the person who makes an impact on their life. You may be the person who says, "Hey, I noticed that you might be struggling a little bit. I noticed that you might be having a little bit of a problem." And people who stop drinking typically don't do it because someone nagged them into it. When I stopped drinking, it was because I decided finally that I was drinking too much and I wanted to make a change in my life. But at the same time, someone had said something to me and it had gotten into my head and it stayed in my head and it planted the seed for me to stop drinking. So I will leave a link below for those of you who need help talking to someone who is may have alcohol use disorder, and I hope that they will get help. But also, this is a very volatile time of year, especially for politics. And use your brain, look for facts. Don't don't just go casting stones just because it looks like someone might be doing something wrong. Stick to facts. Stick to what is known about a person. And if you feel like making a comment because that person looks like they might be doing something, keep that to yourself and make an informed decision as always. And I encourage you to get out and vote. Whatever your decision is, get out and vote. That's what makes America great. And I'll see you next time after you leave a like and hopefully subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you next time on Sober Without God.